Hello, I'm Yalin, one of the lead developers of QSDsan and also a member of the Quantitative Sustainable Design Group, a QSD group. Today, I will be going through the first tutorial of QSDsan, including some helpful basics on Python and Jupyter Notebook, which is a tool we use to write QSDsan's tutorials. All right, so the first task for us is actually to find where QSDsan's tutorials is. So to do that, you can just search for QSDsan GitHub, and it will show you where the GitHub home for QSDsan is. And you can go to the docs and go to source, and then go to this tutorials folder. And today we'll be learn about this helpful basics. You can open it from here. So in addition to GitHub, another place you can find the tutorial is in the documentation of QSDsan. To do that, you can search for QSDsan documentation, and then it will lead to this read the docs page, which is where QSDsan's documentation is hosted. Here on the left, your navigation bar, you will see a lot of different topics here. So first one is tutorials. You can go to this first one is helpful basics. All right, so this is another place. All right, so we'll close this one, mainly looking at this one here, and I will actually adjust it so we have place for other place. All right, so first topic to cover today is actually how to launch Python Jupyter Notebook. Here I include a link to the software carpentry, and I highly recommend you to go through all of the entire tutorial they have on Python. And also, if you are interested in other programming languages, you can look for those programming languages in software carpentry. So this is a great place for you to learn all the stuff here. All right, so we assume you already have a Python on computer, and we'll be just launching Python. The option A for us to launch Python is to go using the Jupyter Notebook. And I have Anaconda Navigator on my computer, and I'm using Mac, by the way, but we will be adding a video on how we can do all of this stuff in Windows. But essentially, it's just launching Anaconda Navigator, and assume you can easily do this from the what's it called, the start menu in on Windows. All right, I'm waiting for the Anaconda to open. All right, here you can see we have different tiles here, and this one is Jupyter Notebook. So if you haven't installed Jupyter Notebook, you'll be looking at something like this, where you can see a little button showing install, and you can just install it from here. But I already installed Jupyter Notebook, so what I can do is I just launch. And here, again, I'm on Mac, so you'll see my terminal is getting triggered. And then I'll be looking at this, my browser actually opening up, showing a folder. And if you are wondering where this folder is, it's actually your home directory. So this is where it is. If you just open here and go to new find a window, well, you can actually change it. But if you're going to here, this is actually the same folder. You can see applications, then desktop, documentations, it's kind of all here. So this is a home folder. And so this is the first way for us to launch Jupyter Notebook. So another way for us is actually using the command line, and I actually prefer this one. So I will just close this one. And by the way, the proper way of closing off Jupyter Notebook is hit this quit button. So actually, so on the right, you can see this command window where this Jupyter Notebook is launched from. It's kind of showing busy here, showing this place, and also has this token. You can actually just copy this address, and here, put it here, so the same. And in case it is asking for a token, you can copy this long token here. So this is another way for you to do it. But anyway, the proper way of closing off Jupyter Notebook is to hit this quit button. And here you can see in this save sessions, continuous, blah, 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 and it's completed. All right. And because we already closed down the server, so hitting this again won't do anything. All right, process completed, and close this off. And I will close my Anaconda Navigator. For some reason, still showing this application running, we'll already close this, so can just hit quit. So second way of launching that, Jupyter Notebook is through command line, so I like this very much. And here, this is my terminal. I open this up, or you can use the Spotlight search on Apple, which is just command plus space for the keyboard shortcut. So I won't be launching this in my base environment. I will actually launch a demo environment, and we'll talk about this later. But here I'll just open up another virtual environment, and then you can just type in Jupyter Notebook. It doesn't matter, it has, and you should keep this space there. So space is important. And now we are looking at the same thing again. And here is our Jupyter Notebook, our home directory. So I'll put this on the side, put it here. All right, so this is the place we'll be playing around with. And let's skip about this IPython interpreter. So another way, actually a fun way for you to launch Python, but not Jupyter Notebook, is just in your terminal. So all the Jupyter Notebook and also other software or IDE, like Spider or like PyCharm, it's just a nice way for you to play around with Python. So here is saying like a plain vanilla Python interpreter. If you just want to open Python without going through all of those trouble, what you can do is here, I'll just open up another terminal. It's just type Python here. All right, and you can see, so it's kind of changed showing here. So it's showing my Python version here, and some other information. So this, I installed Python through Anaconda. So here is why it's Anaconda is showing here. And you will see this three, like a three, what is the larger than samples here, symbols here. So you can just do whatever you want to do with Python. For example, a typical way for you is just print hello world. Hello world. All right. Yeah, here we go. So this is just one way. And if we want to exit, you can type in exit here. And then let's close this one because I want to go through still using the Jupyter Notebook. Now let's minimize this. All right. So let's also close this one because we have successfully launched Jupyter Notebook, and we want to learn how to make a new Jupyter Notebook. It's quite easy. And first, so because this is your home directory, I suppose you probably don't want to put all of the future Jupyter notebooks on this home directory, but if you want, you can certainly do it. So I prefer everything to be in one place. So I will go to the place I want to put all of that in here in the demos, and here let's make a new Jupyter notebook. What you can do here is on the red, there's a new button, and hit here, and let's put in Python 3. All right, here we go. This will be the place for this. Where's demo? So I'll just put in 2021 and help basics. All right, hit rename, and here the name of the file. So if you want to go this, you can actually go to the new folder. If you go to your, so where I saved this, coding, and then demos, here's the office hour, and this one. This will be the one we're working on right now. All right, cool. So other things about Jupyter Notebook is you can see this first cell here, and it's on the left. You'll see this in something. So this is just meaning this is the code cell. So another type of cell you will be also looking at is a markdown cell. So markdown is you can think is a formatting language which allows you to have really beautiful format there. And Jupyter Notebook use markdown to make some beautiful headers and also bullet lists, the hyperlinks, as you can see here. So first, if I want to convert this cell to a markdown cell, so what I can do cell type here, you can change that to markdown. And on the right, you are also be looking at this M here. So this means it has a shortcut. And here we can just hit M on the keyboard. It will convert this code cell to markdown cell as well. But notice that all of these shortcuts should be used in the escape mode. So what I mean by escape mode is actually if you select this one and you hit the escape on your keyboard, and it will turn from that green kind of color to this blue color. You can see the difference. So it's green, and this is, I'm sorry, that is green, and this is blue. So hit M, and it will change it to a markdown cell. What you will notice is here on the left, the in whatever, the in brackets column, so that's gone. So it means it has been changed into a markdown cell. So to use markdown, they are different. So I include some link to a module which were actually in some of the cheat sheets on markdown. If you want to find other places for to learn markdown, you can actually just search for this markdown cheat sheet, and this website, so markdownguide.org, it actually has really useful like syntax and also other stuff about how we can use markdown. For example, first it tells us about how to use headings, which is just to add this hashtag before all the actual heading text. So what I can do here, for example, if I want to have something like this, helpful basics, which is the highest, the first level header, I can just put in this hashtag tag, and you can see here it's kind of really big. So helpful basics. And then what if I want to render this, which means I want it to show it in the final format? You can just hit so I'm using Mac, so it's Command plus return. But if you are using Windows, it's probably gonna be Control plus return. So it will be looking at you'll be looking at something like this. All right. So there's also other shortcuts here, and in fact, if you go to this, I believe it's either here. Oh yes, in the help, you can look at this keyboard shortcuts. It will show you all of the different shortcuts you can use. All of that. All right. So first, let's insert a lot of different cells. So in escape mode, if you just hit on B, it will insert below a ton. If you hit on A, it will be insert above. All right, so and then other useful things about this markdown, you can also do is add, for example, if we want to add something like bullet point, we can just do something like this using a dash. You can see A dash, and then there's B, there's this. And it doesn't matter if you are using dash or it's a star, they can all both rendered. So okay, and if you want to have another level under this, you can just hit the tab, and then well, let's put A1 here. You can see this is kind of a blue color, and it will automatically render as kind of a greenish. It will differentiate the different colors and look like something like this. So as you can see on the left. So there's also other ways you can play around with that. And if we want to delete this cell, it's just hit on the D on your keyboard for twice, then it will delete this. All right. Essentially, that's just the different cells types and also markdown you can play around with. And we can go to them. And then if you want to learn more of this, just click on those links about how to about this markdown and other functions about this Jupyter notebook. So next we can do is to import QSDsan. And to do that, because we are actually running a code, so we need the cell to be in the code mode. So you want something like in this before the cell. So if you are, for example, converting this to a markdown cell, and you want to do this like import QSDsan, so just show import QSDsan. There's nothing about that. All right. So let's change that to the code cell. Importing QSDsan, like you import other package, which is just the import QSDsan. And if you want to give it a shorthand, you can do this. So I typically import it as QS, but because we will be learning about the different ways for importing, so here I'll call it QS1. But if you can use QD, QN, whatever, or even if you want to do QSDsan, the package is definitely not a shorthand, but if you want to call it, you can just use this. Anyway, let's do this. You hit Command and Enter, or Control and Enter on there, and it will do this importing. While this cell is running, you will see some of this star here. So it will take some time the first time you import QSDsan, but the next time you do it, it will be really fast. Import QSDsan as QS, whatever. So it will take only a second, less than a second or so, because you have already imported QSDsan. Right? Let's remove this. So a lot of times when you want to know is like, where is this QSDsan, look at this package. To do this, what you can do is just qs1._path. So if you just put this in this cell, it will return the path for QSDsan. Sometimes if you write this in a function or whatever, it won't actually show this. So the most like safest way for you to retrieve the information is actually use this print function. It will print this path for QSDsan, and this is actually where this package is located. So if I copy this to my terminal, okay. If I say open this, and it will open a folder, and here is all of it where your QSDsan is installed. In case you're wondering where that QSDsan is, right? So you can see here, I'm actually playing around with this print function, and here I'm just gonna insert some basic knowledge about Python. So here I'm just can see that I'm printing some just a simple text and with a variable, and I'm doing this, and actually I'm not printing something like QSDsan __ path. I'm actually printing the actual value of this variable, and I'm doing this by using this f prefix on the text I want to print, coupled with this curly bracket here. And this F stands for fancy print in Python. It basically will convert whatever in this curly brackets. It will show the actual value of this variable instead of just the QSDsan of this. So for this, you can compare if I do. So I'll actually copy this to save some time. So this will print the actual text of this. But if I take out this F, okay, this is just something like this. And also if I take out this curly brackets, it's also the same. So you have to have this F on the front and also this curly brackets at the end. So in some old version of Python, it's actually using something like this. You can see is you have to have this curly brackets first, and then dot format. And in the format, you put in the variables. You can have multiple variables, and it will actually be showing in the order of different variables. But I very much prefer this fancy print way because it's really it's really intuitive to me. So I can just look at this. All right. So much about this fancy printing, and let's go back to our talk about this important thing. Okay, so might be wondering kind of like where so how does Python know to look for QSDsan in that particular place? And to do that, so let's touch on this system path. And I'll be so in the future, if you have any bugs on QSDsan, I might be asking, so where is your system path? And it can be confusing to beginners, but it's just the system path is essentially a list of the different directories to where the Python will be looking for different packages to learn, like, or to get to know where so what is your system path. So what you can do is, so first we need to import some useful packages, and these packages you don't need to install them. These are the built-in modules. So sys is one. Import this, and then you can see the importing those built-in modules. They are really fast. Then we can do sys.path. Actually, you will be looking this long list of paths. So essentially, what Python will do, it will look at these different paths in this order. They will first say, okay, can I find QSDsan from this folder? No. If there is, it will import QSDsan from here. But if there's none, it will give up this one and then look for the next one and next one, etc. If there is no such package within all of these packages, for example, I'm gonna import something funny, like import something funny. Well, it will try to search and see like no module named something funny. So well, there's no such modules. And we'll change something like this. All right. Okay. So this is about the system path, and now we learn about system path. You might be wondering, okay, so if so this means I can kind of have like 2 or 3 or even more versions of QSDsan on my computer at the same time, as long as I know which one I want to be using, and I ensure that the one I want to import will be of a higher order or of a for higher priority on this within this system list. So let's say for example, if I want to import QSDan from another place, let's go to GitHub actually.com and let's download QSDsan. Let's just download QSDsan. So download zip. It will be downloaded to my folder here. Unless it's here. And if I say I want to import QSDsan from here, so what I want to do is first I want to learn, okay, so where this is. So on Mac, what you can do is open a new terminal, and terminal is really powerful. You can drag this QSDsan here to terminal, and it will show, okay, so this is the path. So this means we want to the path to this QSDsan. It's here, so we'll keep it here because we'll need it in the future. And then what we want to do is we want to insert this path into our system path, and we want to ensure it's of higher priority than where is that set packages. Okay. All right, it's here. So this is where actually our the first QSDsan is imported. If you look at here, so users opt and blah blah blah. So it's from inside imported QSDsan. So it's actually in this. All right. So we want to insert this path into our system path and ensure it appears earlier than this one. So we'll just insert that as a first entry into this list. And here I'm gonna kind of insert another some useful topics about Python, which is about list and inserting, and also object-oriented programming. So for example, so I know that in the system.path, there's a function called insert, which can help us to insert something. And if I just hit it further, so it's list insert. And what if we want to know how we can use this function? So you can have 2 ways to get the documentation or help information on this. You can just hit a question mark on this and then hit command and enter or control and enter. And on the bottom of this Jupyter notebook, you'll be looking at this some useful information. So it's saying, okay, so the insert object before index. Its signature, which means how you can use this is to have an index and then the object. So what it means is you can put 2 arguments here. First, the index, so where in this list you want to insert the object, and then the second one will be the objects. So this is kind of like shorter help menu here. So what you can also do is type in help and then use parentheses to put in this system.pass.insert. And here you can see the help on built-in function insert, blah, 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 all of this. So one thing you might also be noticed here is it's showing like it's method of the built-in .list instance. It's not saying it's this insert function is for system.pass. So what this means? This actually is one of the biggest advantage of the object-oriented programming, so OOP as we often call it. So this because this system.pass is actually an instance or an example of the built-in .list class. So this means, so all of this just means if you can have a certain class and then you add some functions to the class, all the instance of subclasses of those of that certain class will have the same method. So this means if I here in this case, if I have this insert functions to this built-in .list class, so the instance of the actual applications of this list, which is system.pass in this case, will have the same functions. So this means you don't have to write these functions again and again and again. You can just have those class, put that method or the function on that class, and then the instance or subclass of those will be having the same method or functions as put here as in this insert function. And here I want to say there's also more nuance about the different kind of methods. So once a function is attached to a class, we typically call it methods. For example, there can be this class method, which is to like on this class level, and also the instant method, which is to the different instance like system.pass. And there's also the static method, which is actually not using anything associated with the class. But there's kind of more advanced, and we can cover it later. But what I just want to tell, kind of show here is just so by having this class structure, what we will be able to do is just to attach a method or some attribute, some data, whatever, to a class, and then the instance of the class will be able to have the same method or data or whatever attribute. All right. So back to this is so two things we want to ensure here is to insert this pass to the system.pass and make sure it will be appear earlier than these set packages, which is here, right? And to do that, actually we'll need to restart our kernel. So restart the kernel is like resetting, it's basically letting Python forget about all of the things we have done. And we have to do this because we already imported QSDsan, and it always remembers the first QSDsan already imported, so it won't look at other QSDsan. So what we need to do here, restart the kernel. You can do it here, kernel, hit restart, and or you can add down this red shortcut in place. You can just in the escape mode here, just type in 0 twice. It will have this prompt asking if whether you really want to restart. You say, okay, I really want to restart. All right, so kind of we are already restarting now. So the way like you can kind of know like how we're already restarted, you can do something, put in some code. For example, put in hello again. Oh, and then you can see this content starts from, oh, what I'm doing here. Hello again. I'm sorry. It's kind of starting from the first again. So that was 1. Here is 2, and we can take a break from the 13 before. So now we can start importing QSDsan again. So I was trying to insert some new cells below. So what we do is we want to downloaded, loaded. Oh, this pass equals. I'll just copy it here. You can select copy. And we want to use code to code this. Then we want to insert this pass into system pass. So we need to import this And we can look at the system path. Oh, I'm sorry. It's here. Want to do system path. Like what we said before is we want to insert, and then the first we call the first signature, the first argument we want to put in is the index. We want to put it as the first one, so we put index 0. This 0. So Python is a 0 indexing language. That means it starts counting from 0. And then we want to put in the object, so which is this downloaded path. Loaded the path. And another thing, nice thing in a lot of this, in Jupyter Notebook and in some IDEs as well, is you don't, if you are like too lazy like me, you don't want to type in the entire thing. And if this if you already like put in this variable or function in some way, this it will kind of remember what you already put in there. For example, so here I want to put in this downloaded path here, but I just don't want to spell this whole thing. So after putting this down, you can just hit on the tab on your keyboard, and it will show. It'll help you to fill in the rest. So download the path, and then what we can do is this. And look at this thing again. You can see. All right, here we successfully insert this path. Actually there. Oh, and by the way, actually I shouldn't be having this QSDsan party. So let's do this again. Because we want to import QSDsan. So it will looking for this QSDsan folder as a whole. So if I have this QSDsan there, is kind of still like not having this QSDsan, because if I go to where's my download, it will be like after inserting this path, it will be searching within its path. It will try to look for QSDsan here, and it still says there's no QSDsan because we tell it to look in QSDsan within QSDsan. So what we should actually be doing is to remove this part. All right. To do that, we can do san.pop. Just this function, which is just get like delete one thing from this. So remove and return atom at the index. All right. So just pop this first one. Yeah, pop this in, and if we do this, close this guy. Dot path. There's no such thing. So let's redo this. Download path equals here. Then let's do sys.path.insert. All of this again. Download the path. All right, just to be sure, sys.path. Just have this QSDsan, and now let's try to import QSDsan. QS2. Let's call it 2. So, all right, let's see where this QSD2 is. All right, you can see here, like importing it from the download version. So instead of this QSDsan in its set packages, we actually imported it from the one we just downloaded. So this is just a nice way for to have another versions of QSDsan. All right. So finally, another point of this is, so this is sort of like inserting. It's just for this ROM. So Python or your system environment won't actually remember all of this. So if we restart the kernel like we did before, it's just will forget about this inserting. It will keep using the same old system path. And if we want to have this downloads as a like sort of like permanent place for future packages, that's sort of like more advanced thing, and you have to actually change the profile of your shell, and we can talk about that later. So kind of download to kind of like show you that after restarting won't be like this computer or your Python won't remember anything about this. We can just restart this kernel again. All right, here we just import QSDsan as QS, and now we are, oh, if we do that, we can actually take a look at the system path. Oops. Here you can see there's nothing about that download folder, nothing. So here, I have to do import QSDsan as QS3. This thing, finish, then QS3 dot path. All right, back to that set packages version again. And final thing, another thing I want to add in here is a lot of times because of we are continuously developing QSDsan. So sometimes I may ask you if you run into some bugs, I may say, oh, it might be a case of like you are using an older version of QSDsan, whereas like some other package you are developing is require a newer version of QSDsan, etc. So I want to know the version of QSDsan you have on your computer. Through that, what you can do is QSDsan dot version here. So 0.3.2, that's the version I'm currently using right now. And we have other things, secure cat photo. If you look at the tutorial, so the tutorial is basically about the same thing, but I'm writing in with details inside here. Actually, that'll be all I'll be covering today. So I hope you can learn. I hope going through this video will help you to go through the tutorial and also learn about Python and Jupyter notebooks, the most basic stuff. So this will be the end of this first tutorial, and in the next one, we'll be talking about the component, which is the most basic class in QSDsan. Thanks for watching.